It was just a normal evening, and I was walking home from school like I always do. It was starting to get dark, but I didn't think much of it. I had my headphones on, lost in my own little world. As I turned the corner onto a quiet street, I noticed a guy walking a little too close behind me. I didn't pay much attention at first, thinking he was just going the same way. But then I noticed he was getting closer and closer, and my heart started to race. I tried to walk faster, but he kept matching my pace. I could feel my hands shaking, and I knew something was wrong. I decided to take a different route, hoping to lose him, but he followed me. At that point, I was really scared, and my mind was racing with all these worst-case scenarios. I thought about calling someone, but my phone was dead. It felt like a nightmare, and I couldn't wake up from it. Then, I saw a neighbour's house with the lights on, and I knew I had to do something. I ran up to the door and started banging on it, praying that someone would answer. Thankfully, the door opened, and the person inside saw how scared I was. I blurted out that someone was following me, and they immediately called the police. The guy who was following me must have realised he was busted because he took off. The police came quickly, and they were really helpful and reassuring. They walked me home and made sure I was safe. I can't thank them enough for their help that night. I don't even want to think about what could have happened if I hadn't found that open door. It was the scariest moment of my life, and it's made me so much more cautious when I'm out alone. I wanted to share this with you all because it's so important to be aware of our surroundings and to trust our instincts. I never thought something like this would happen to me, but it did. And now, I want everyone to stay safe and vigilant, especially when you're walking alone. So, please take care of yourselves and each other. It's a scary world out there, but we can look out for one another. And to the person who helped me that night, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You were my guardian angel when I needed it the most. I'm an intern at this software company, and last week I had the scariest experience of my life while walking back home. I had missed my bus that night, and I didn't want to wait for the next one, so I decided to walk home. It was a bit of a long walk, but I thought it would be okay since I've done it before. Little did I know that this night would be different. As I was walking, I noticed one of my co-workers, Dave, was behind me. At first, I didn't think much of it, assuming he was just heading in the same direction. But then I started to get this uneasy feeling. He was walking really close to me, and it just felt off. I tried to shake it off and pick up my pace, but he kept matching my steps. It felt like he was following me, and my heart started pounding in my chest. I didn't know what to do, and I was too scared to confront him. I decided to take a detour, hoping to lose him, but he kept following me. I started to panic, and my mind was racing with all these terrifying scenarios. I didn't have my phone with me, so I couldn't call anyone for help. Just when I thought I was completely alone and helpless, a passerby noticed something was off. They came up to me and asked if I was okay. I told them that I was being followed by a co-worker, and they immediately offered to walk with me. Having that stranger by my side made me feel so much safer, and I can't even put into words how grateful I was for their help. They stayed with me until I reached my house, and Dave finally backed off. I still can't believe that happened to me. It was so scary and unsettling, especially because it was someone I knew from work. I've been trying to avoid him ever since, and I'm even considering talking to my supervisor about it. I just wanted to share this with you all because it's so important to trust your instincts and be cautious when you're out alone. You never know when something like this could happen, and having someone there to help can make all the difference. After a college party, I had the scariest encounter of my life while walking home. I was feeling great after the party, and I decided to walk back to my apartment since it wasn't too far. It was a bit late, and the streets were pretty empty, but I thought I could handle it. As I was walking, I noticed a guy following me from a distance. At first, I tried to brush it off, thinking he was just heading in the same direction. But something about the way he was walking and looking at me gave me a bad feeling. I picked up my pace, but he kept getting closer. I felt my heart racing, and I knew I was in trouble. I tried to call a friend or someone for help, but my phone had died during the party. It felt like a nightmare, and I couldn't believe this was happening to me. I decided to take a shortcut through a park, thinking I could lose him there. But he followed me, and my fear only grew. I started to panic, and I knew I had to get away from him. I ran as fast as I could, but he was too quick. Before I knew it, he caught up to me and tried to grab my bag. I fought back as hard as I could, but he was stronger than me. In the struggle, he managed to take my bag and run away. I was left feeling terrified and helpless, and I didn't know what to do. I called the police, but by the time they arrived, he was long gone. I felt violated and scared, and it's been really hard for me to process what happened. It's such a terrifying feeling to know that someone was targeting me like that. I just wanted to share this with you all because it's so important to be aware of your surroundings and to take precautions when you're out alone, especially at night. I never thought something like this would happen to me, but it did. So please stay safe out there and always let someone know where you are and have a charged phone with you. And if you ever find yourself in a scary situation, don't hesitate to call for help. It's better to be safe than sorry. I hope that by sharing my story, it can remind everyone to look out for each other and stay vigilant. Let's all watch out for our friends and loved ones, and let's make sure we do everything we can to keep each other safe.